Hello, Eurovision fans. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, Eurovision Histories. I promised you last week that I would be doing these latest news update videos more regularly again. I didn't think it would be happening after a week, but so many things have happened in the world of Eurovision that I had to do another one, especially also in my own country, Germany, which I want to talk about. There are rumors about a Romanian withdrawal and also about a Formula One driver representing a country. And we're going to talk about who is possibly representing Cyprus next year. So let's get right to it. The first topic I want to talk about is Germany. We now have a date for a national final. So we know there's not an internal selection, but a national final on the 16th of February. And artists and musicians can already apply to participate in this national final. They said that all genres are welcome, and you can even apply without a song. Interesting. I guess they will help them find the right song for Eurovision if they apply without one. They haven't really specified that. What I do like is that there's no mention yet of a TikTok vote like last year when Ike Hüftgold won the TikTok vote, went to the national final and almost won, which in my opinion, would have been a bit of a disaster for Germany at Eurovision. So I'm quite happy they're not mentioning that anymore. You can upload your song on TikTok and apply in that way by using a specific hashtag, but there's no mention of a TikTok vote as of yet. However, there are also some other rumors, and that is that NDR, which is currently responsible for Eurovision, will be replaced by MDR in 2025. So the situation in Germany is quite particular. You have the ARD, the main public German channel, which is a collaboration of regional channels, including NDR, which is the regional channel for Northern Germany, and MDR, which is the regional channel for Middle Eastern Germany, Central Eastern Germany. And they provide the programming for the main channel as well. And at the moment, NDR is responsible for Eurovision. They have gotten a lot of criticism for the very bad results of Germany in the last couple of years. And apparently, because of this, they are ready to hand it over to someone else within the ARD, to another regional broadcaster, and that would be the MDR. In the past, Germany has been represented in a way by different national broadcasters. The broadcaster from Hessen was responsible until the end of the 70s. Then Bavaria did it until the 90s. MDR, the one that is in discussion right now to take over in 2025, helped select the German entries and also produce Eurovision in the early 90s, right after unification, because MDR is representing regions that were part of the former GDR, former East Germany. And then in the mid-90s, NDR took over until now. Of course, they have Lena's win in 2010 and quite good results in the beginning of the millennium. But then recently it has really gone sour. MDR is interesting because it is also responsible for a lot of the music shows of the national broadcaster in Germany. However, the kinds of music shows they produce are mostly for an older demographic, I would say. It's not really cool, young pop music. It's more Schlager. It's the kind of stuff my parents and older people listen to and watch on that channel. So I'm a bit apprehensive about them taking over, even though I don't think that NDR did a very good job either. But we'll see. The ARD, the national broadcaster, is trying to pool competencies in the different regional broadcasters, and apparently MDR is supposed to be responsible for music. So it would make a lot of sense. But because of the shows they are producing until now, I'm a bit apprehensive, unfortunately, but we'll see what happens. I'm also a bit unsure about the national final next year because it's just the same as every year. I do hope that NDR approaches specific artists that they would like to see in the national final, and because otherwise we will have an array of amateurs, and I don't think that's enough to do well at Eurovision, possibly, even though Lena also was kind of an amateur. Now, next up, I want to go to the French Riviera and talk about Monaco again. Now, last week, I talked about the possible return of Monaco, and this has become even more possible. TV Monaco, which you can see here, started broadcasting on the 1st of September this year, and it is part of the Monaco Media Diffusion company that includes a few media channels, and this Monaco Media Diffusion is already part of the EBU. So that means that that Monaco is actually eligible to compete in Eurovision 2024, which is really cool. So we might actually see them back. The government had allocated 100,000 euros for a possible Eurovision return in 2022. We do not know whether this money still exists and they can use it for 2024, but it would be amazing. Now let's go to the rumor mill connected to Monaco, because under a post by Eurovoix.com, a great website, talking about that Monaco is actually eligible to compete, Charles LeClerc, who is a famous Formula One driver from Monaco, in case you didn't know, said, "I'm ready," and also posted a microphone. Now, Charles LeClerc, as I said, is very famous and quite successful as a Formula One driver, as part of, as you can see, Ferrari. However, he is also an aspiring musician. He's actually recording. He has posted some videos on his Instagram of recording sessions. So him saying, "I am ready," as you could see here, might actually be an indication that he could be interested in representing Monaco and starting his music career with a big boom. Wouldn't that be incredible to have a Formula One driver represent Monaco at Eurovision? He is actually from Monaco, so that would be a first probably for now. There was one who lived in Monaco, but he was actually born and raised in Monaco, so that would be quite interesting as well. Would you like to see him represent Monaco at Eurovision? Let me know in the comments. Now, we have talked about Cyprus in every single one of these videos. Last week, I said that the new artist would be announced, the new representative for Eurovision 2024 this week. But nothing happened. We don't know anything. However, there are rumors that Silia Kapsis, who is an up-and-coming artist in Australia, might be the one chosen by the Cypriot national broadcaster. She is 16 years old. She is from Australia, like Andrew Lambrew was this year, and she has Greek and Cypriot heritage. So that would make her kind of a female version of Andrew Lambrew in a way. Quite interesting. If you look at her music, we might be looking at a disco song. However, as I said, no official announcement has been made up until now, but I wouldn't be against her representing Cyprus. There were also some rumors that the Dream Team with Philip Kirkorov and the Greek team that always work together a lot on Moldovan entries might be staging the entry, but also these are just rumors and we don't have a confirmation as of yet. Now let's go to some quite sad news, and that is that Romania might be withdrawing from Eurovision 2024. A Romanian newspaper has reported that there are big discussions in the national broadcaster TVR about withdrawing because the participation this year cost around 400,000 euros, and they're just thinking that it's not worth it. They're also not putting in enough of an effort, I do think, and that the budget is just not there to participate in Eurovision. We know how it ended this year with the last place in the semifinals with Theodor Andrei. He said that he didn't get the support from the national broadcaster that he wanted, apparently also financial support that he didn't get. So it kind of seems like something that was in the making for quite some time. It would be a big shame because Romania has a giant music scene, a very successful music scene as well. They could find good artists to represent them. Just the national selection doesn't seem to be good enough to find the right people, unfortunately. And them withdrawing would really be a big shame. The national broadcaster has said that no decision has been made yet, but the deadline to apply for Eurovision is next week. So they really need to make a decision. And I'm kind of expecting them to announce their withdrawal. Very unfortunately, another Eastern European country leaving, which I am really not happy about because I usually like their entries quite a bit. Next up, Marcus and Martinez and Keiino are rumored to participate in the Norwegian national final MGP next year. I would be quite interested to hear a new song from Keiino. I didn't like their song in 2019 when the contest was happening, but it really grew on me after the fact, and they did win the televote. So I would be really interested in hearing a new song. The ones that they have released since then have really not caught my attention as much, but maybe for Eurovision they can come up with something great again. And Marcus and Martinez almost won Melodifestivalen in Sweden this year, were only beat by the eventual Eurovision winner Loreen. So I think it does make sense that they are trying to go to Eurovision for their native Norway. So we'll see how that develops. I'll keep you updated in the next latest news videos, quite definitely. Then we have news about a possible national final in Austria. Even though national final might not be the right word, the new entertainment head of the national broadcaster ORF has said that he would like to include the public in the selection of the new Eurovision song. However, he is talking about an online vote rather than a televised national final. And there's also no real information about how this online vote would be included in the final selection process for the song. Because in June, the director of programming of ORF had already said that a national final won't be happening, and people had, including me, had taken that as we will have an internal selection, but maybe it will be an internal selection with some aspect of a democratic vote that the Eurovision fans in Austria can participate in. I have talked to some of them and they're quite excited to be a part of it again after so many years of internal selections. By the way, I had an item about Conchita possibly coming back for Austria. That is not the case, unfortunately. She has announced that she is not coming back for Austria in 2024. However, that doesn't exclude that she's coming back in some other year, possibly. And then some of you have asked in the comments of my last video, are you going to talk about Junior Eurovision? I'm not a big fan of Junior Eurovision because I just think that children should be children and shouldn't be put on a stage to perform. That's my personal opinion. However, the Junior Eurovision this year in November will be held in France, and 16 countries will be participating, which is quite a success, I think. And for the very first time ever, all of the big 5 countries will be there. So Junior Eurovision is kind of growing into something more stable. Before, I remember that it was always a discussion whether there would be enough countries participating. They let Wales participate, Kazakhstan, just I feel to get enough countries to participate, but that doesn't seem to be a problem anymore. And I'm quite happy for the organizers, even though, as I said, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of this competition. And as you can see, the slogan this year is Heroes. Quite an interesting and different slogan from all the Eurovision slogans I can remember. Now, my song tip this week is something quite special because it is a Eurovision winner, Duncan Laurence, covering a song by a former Eurovision participant, also from the Netherlands, Douwe Bob. And this is from The Beste Zangers, a show where known artists cover each other's songs, and I really, really love Duncan Laurence's version. It's a ballad, it's very emotional, and Douwe Bob got really emotional when he sang it on the show. So check that out, it's on Spotify. I really like it. I'll also add a link in the description. And then I have a final chart update for Eurovision 2023. Tattoo has now been certified platinum in Belgium. It's a giant, giant hit. It was #1 for, I think, 8 or 9 weeks in both parts of Belgium. Big, big success. And then also Queen of Kings from Norway has been certified with a gold disc in Belgium. Also a big success for Alessandra. Really happy for her. And I am looking forward to more chart successes. Tattoo is holding really, really steadily on Spotify. Over 1 million streams every single day. And it is becoming a hit in more and more countries, so I'm really, really glad for Loreen as well. These are all the news I wanted to talk about this week. Please subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss any of my next videos. And I'll see you then if you want to. Bye-bye and see you soon.